Everyone, welcome to EduHub. Continuing with the ongoing series on GS paper 4, that is Ethics, Integrity and Aptitude. So in our last class we have seen about the overview of the subject. So today we will see the syllabus of the subject, right? So talking about the syllabus, the whole syllabus is divided into basically two parts. So part 1 consists of the various concepts, okay, and the part 2 will consist of case studies associated with these concepts, okay. The first topic is ethics and human interface. So under this topic we'll study about the definition of the ethics, right, its essence and what are the different determinants of ethics, right. Again we will study about how these ethics influence the human actions. Now when we talk about human actions, we will see what are the qualities that are needed to call an action a human action, right. Then we will see about its various dimensions such as meta-ethics, normative ethics, descriptive ethics, right. Then again we will see does ethics changes, right, and if it changes, how it changes, okay. Again, how ethics is different in private and public relationships, right. The next topic is about human values, okay. So under this topic we will learn about, or we will see about the various teachings of the great leaders, right. Now when we say great leaders, so it is not confined to some particular leaders, okay. So this part is very dynamic, right. Again we will see about the earlier, so there are some administrators, right, for example Ashok Khemka, okay. So we will learn from their experiences, we will learn from their achievements, okay. What are the things that can be adopted, right. Then again how a family plays a role in changing the ethics of a particular person, right. So the role of the family is very important here. Again, how does in society plays a role, okay. So ethics differs from society to society, right. So obviously society will play a very important role in shaping the ethics of an individual. At the same time, educational institutes will also inculcate some values in a particular individual, right. So all these things will be covered under this topic. The next topic, and a very important topic, is about attitude, okay. So under this topic we will see about the definition of the attitude, its structure, its type, right. Again we have seen yesterday that often people has some attitudinal problem, okay. So under this topic we have to study how the administrator will play an important role, or will lead in changing the certain attitudes of the common peoples, okay. Various case studies will come based on these topics. For example, we know that there is an attitudinal gap between the younger generation and the older generations. If you see, the older generations are a bit what we say, a bit, they are more conservative, right, as compared to the younger generations. The younger generations are more open, right. Okay, so due to this attitudinal gap between the generations, often conflict arises, okay. So this may lead to various issues, okay. For example, breakdown of the family system, right. So as an administrator, what will be your role, okay. What will be your role to gap this trust deficit between the generations, right. So case studies may come under this, okay. How administrator will use persuasion, compassion or social proof to change the attitudes of the people, okay. For example, yesterday we have talked about Swachh Bharat mission, right. So unless and until you cannot change the attitude of the people, okay. For example, if you say to the people that use this toilet and prevent going into the open, or prevent open defecation, but merely saying to them is not enough, right. You have to change your attitude. And how you can change? For example, if we bring some social proof in front of them that if you adopt such sanitary measures, obviously it will be healthy, okay, it will be good for your family, okay. So under these case studies, you can cite various examples ranging from Bollywood movies, books, or some real life incidents. Okay, for example, here you can cite the example of this one Akshay Kumar's movie, that is a toilet ki prem katha, right? So thus the case study should be answered, right? So the next topic is aptitude and foundational values for civil service, right? So it has also various subsections from on which directly case studies comes, right? Often we say that a man must be, or one must be, a man and women of integrity, right? In fact, this integrity can be called as the mother of all values, right? Now, if we understand this with an example, let's consider you are an administrator, right, and your son is very sick, right, and you need a considerable amount of money for his treatment. Now a company comes to your office and offers you with a certain considerable amount of money to pass an illegal contract. So what will be your course of action? Okay, so when you see this condition, it might be a win-win condition for you, okay, because you need that money and that money is provided by the company for the treatment of your son, right? But if you are a man of integrity, right, if you are a man or if you're a woman of integrity, then you will not fall prey to the offer of the company, right? So you will be impartial, or you will act in a non-partisan manner irrespective of your self-interest, right? So such integrity must be maintained in the bureaucratic or in the administrative works, right? Because if you fail in your integrity and if you accept the bribe from the company, right, then you will set a very bad example for your juniors, okay. So this may become a tradition of accepting bribes in the office, right? So this is very important, that one should have to maintain his integrity, right? He should have impartiality and non-partisan in his works, right? Next is the emotional intelligence, right? See, an administrator does not work in vacuum, right? So he works in among the emotions of various peoples. He has his own set of emotions. He has his colleagues who has their sets of emotions. He have to talk with the public who have their own set of emotions, right? So working in a circle where emotion plays a very crucial role in determining any decision is very important on how this administrator intelligently work on his emotions, okay. So let's consider another example. So if a case study comes on the Baghjan tragedy, okay, we all know about the Baghjan tragedy, right? So if a question comes that many properties of the people are lost in the Baghjan tragedy. Now the people are coming out on the road and protesting. They are taking law and order in your hand, right? So as an superintendent of the police or as a district administrator head, what will be your course of action in handling this public, right? So now if you say that under section 144 I will impose section 144 and I will if the people will gather there, then under this section 144 I will disperse the public by using lathi charge and all, right? So this is not the right course of action, right? Because if you use force on that people, then it may have some repercussions, right? মানুহখিনিয়ে উল্টাই বেছি উগ্ৰ হৈ যাব পাৰে। But if you use your own emotional intelligence like sympathy, empathy, or persuasion, okay, to make the people understand that yes, we know your pains, we know your we are feeling your losses, just give us some time, we will solve this matter, right? So thus if you use your emotional intelligence to handle a certain case, this will show your administrative expertise, right? So these all things comes under this topic, okay, because you can see that application, how emotional intelligence can be used in administration and governance. Okay, so when we talk about governance, okay, governance is the way or is the method how a government works, right? Next, we will see about the contribution of moral thinkers and philosophers from India and the world. Right now, see, we need not read about many thinkers what they have said in particular, but we will use their philosophies. For example, there are certain philosophies in our Indian culture, like Sarva Dharma Samabhav, right? That means this talks about universal brotherhood, Vasudeva Kutumbakum, right? Sarva Dharma Samabhav. Vasudeva Kutumbakum talks about universal brothership. Sarva Dharma Samabhav talks about all religions are equal. Then again, there are philosophies like Niskam Karma. Okay, this means desireless action. Okay, that means when you are doing a certain action or you are doing a certain social work, then your desire should not be self or self-desire. Okay, that means you are not doing any work for your self-interest. Okay, that means must be desireless. Okay, you are not doing any work to gain something in return, right? The next topic is public civil service values in ethics and public administration. Okay, so these are the similar set of values that one must have, okay, that we have already discussed, like non-partisanship, right? One should not be biased to anything. Okay, so these are the things, this will come under this topic. Next comes probity in governance. Okay, now when we say probity, so probity means any strong moral principles. Okay, now how you will have the strong set of moral principles, honesty and decency in carrying out certain government works. For example, if you are a head of certain social work department, okay, now various funds are coming under your department, okay, to that funds must be used to empower the weaker sections, right? Now as an administrator, if you don't use these funds properly, right, then you will fail in your administrative ethics. Okay, so again, there are various subtopics such as right to information, transparency in government, right? Transparency in government means the amount of, suppose under Manrega certain amount of money is there, so you should have the transparency to let the public know about how much amount you are spending, right? Is the amount that you are spending is used in the right cause, right? So this must be clear cut. Okay, so that's why right to information is there. Okay, again, there is a citizen charter. Okay, now when we say citizen charter, if you go to a particular office, okay, you see there in the office there is often one list written known as citizen charter. That means the various things, for example, if you are facing certain problems, to whom you will complain, okay, various things are maintained in this citizen charter. Okay, so we will deal this topic in a detailed manner when we will start the class, right? Okay. The next part 2 is on case studies. Again, I have said that these case studies will all based on the various concepts that are included in the part 1. Okay, so in the next video we will start with the